Welcome back to the channel. So the new Premier League season is starting soon. Let's take a look at the biggest winners and the biggest losers of this summer transfer window. Firstly, the biggest winner of the transfer window is Arsenal. They've addressed their striker issue by buying Gabriel Jesus for £40 million. They got rid of Alexandre Lacazette, a striker who was on a big contract that wasn't producing the output he was being paid for, and the young guns of Arsenal were getting frustrated that they were having to do his job in scoring the goals and he wasn't providing much. So they've addressed that issue and they've bought Gabriel Jesus, a Man City star with experience in winning the Premier League, and he's signed for Arsenal and he's expected to have a big season for them. They've also bought in left back extraordinaire Alexander Zinchenko, again from Man City, for £30 million to address their issue at the left back of Kieran Tierney being injured all the time. So again, that's another great signing. Now they've also bought Fabio Vieira, creative midfielder, for about £30 million. Now this is going to add competition to Martin Odegaard for the creative spot. So Arsenal have addressed their needs and they've done their transfers quick and fast, and there's a real good feel vibe in the Arsenal team because of the transfers they made. They've got good chemistry, so Arsenal are the first big winners. Second big winners of the transfer window is Arsenal's North London rivals, Tottenham. Now they've splashed the cash while keeping the best players. Before they will splash the cash only after selling the best players, but they've done that and they've kept Kane and Son. So they splashed the cash mainly on Richarlison for £60 million to compete for the striking positions. They've brought in midfield workhorse Basuma, again a very good signing. He's going to do well under Conte. He's going to do exactly what Conte needs from him, and he should fit in very nicely. They've also signed Dej Spence from Middlesbrough, the young upcoming right back that smashed it last season. Again, Conte loves a good fast right back, so they've bought a young exciting right back to adjust that. And then they've also got the experience in signing Ivan Perisic, someone who Conte knows well from Inter Milan, and he's got the experience. He can play winger, right wing back, right back, so that should add some depth to the squad. They've also bought defender Lenglet on loan to add reinforcements to their defending positions. So again, all great signings, add depth to the squad. They're going to be playing in a lot of competitions. So just like Arsenal, they've not sold many of their top players, but they've added top players to add competition to their current players, and Arsenal and Tottenham are the two biggest winners. Another winner of the transfer window is actually Nottingham Forest, newly promoted team, and they've made a bunch of shrewd signings. Forest, the players they used to get promoted last year, a lot of them were from loan or they left on free transfer, but Forest have splashed the cash. They've brought in Dean Henderson on loan, Man United goalkeeper, and he'll be looking to emulate the form he had 2 seasons ago at Sheffield United, so that can be a great signing. Of course, they've bought Jesse Lingard, who should have a big impact, as many teams wanted Lingard. West Ham, Southampton, they were all in for Lingard, but surprisingly Forest managed to secure his signature. They've given him a big contract, they've taken a chance with him, and I think Lingard's going to shine, especially in a smaller team where he can be the best player. Forest have also bought NECO Williams from Liverpool for £20 million at the right back. Again, it's a statement signing for a newly promoted team to be splashing money like that, especially on the right back. They've also bought this new striker Anweni for £20 million from Hertha Berlin. I don't really know much about him, but reading about it, there's some excitement about him. So again, they've added another position, added splash money on that. They've bought a few other signings for about £10 million, so taking their total spending to £81 million. Whether this will succeed or not, because many teams have before bought a lot of players and that's kind of damaged the chemistry, but Forest got a good core, they've got a good manager, and at least the Forest fans should be excited about how the board is backing them. Another winner of the transfer window is Man City. Man City always are winners in the transfer window because they're such a well-run club. And you know, they've arguably made the most exciting transfer of the year by signing Erling Haaland for £60 million. Haaland, they finally got a striker. They've got one of the best strikers in the world. They've been playing without a striker. Now they've got a striker, end of all their crosses. And yeah, like Man City are the favourites for a reason because they've bought this young superstar. Then they lost Fernandinho on free transfer, but they've replaced him with Calvin Phillips, a workhorse who knows Premier League experience, coming from Leeds. He's done a lot of running around, playing under Beasler, so he should fit into this Man City team very easily. So 2 great signings, and you know, they lost players, but they generated a lot of money from selling Sterling, Jesus and Zinchenko, which brought in 140 million pounds for them. So, and they can use that money now to invest in. They're looking to get Cucurella from Brighton. So Man City are winners of the transfer window as always. Finally, we got some teams that are tiny winners. You know, Liverpool are tiny winners because one, they kept Salah, he signed a new contract, so that's a little win there, and they signed a star striker, Darwin Núñez, for about 80 million pounds. Now, there's not much hype from Núñez from before, but he's only had 1 good season. But you trust Liverpool done their due diligence in signing Núñez, so pretty sure that should succeed. So they're tiny winners. Other tiny transfer window winners, Leeds, they spent a lot of money and made good signings. Newcastle have done well, and then Aston Villa, who have added reinforcements early in transfer window. So all those teams are the winners. Now let's look at the biggest losers, in my opinion, of this transfer window. The first biggest loser I have is Manchester United. Now, gone are the days where players would line up to sign for Man United, because right now they're struggling to get players through. One big transfer they've done is Lisandro Martinez, right? The centre back, right back, left back, utility player. But even with that, many feel that Martinez was valued at 35 million, and then Man United have slightly overpaid to secure his signature because Arsenal were looking to get Martinez. So they've added Martinez, but they failed to add any other real reinforcement in the striker winger position. They tried to get Anthony from Ajax, but now Ajax are valuing him too high, and now Man United are struggling to get him. Then, of course, the longest drawn transfer saga of this summer is Frankie de Jong. You know, it appeared that they agreed the transfer 2 months ago, but now there's issues with the contract and wages. There's talks that de Jong doesn't want to sign for Man United, and right now, as of now, de Jong still isn't coming to Man United, so they're struggling to secure de Jong. So Man United are struggling to sign players. They can't get the transfers done quickly like they used to. Look at Man City, Arsenal, Tottenham, get it done quick. Whereas Man United are just struggling right now. And then you got the players that want to leave, most notably Ronaldo. He wants to leave because he wants to play for a Champions League team. He hasn't even joined them in the pre-season, hasn't even joined them in their training. So who knows how that's going to add to a distraction to the team. So to me, Man United are the biggest losers of this transfer window. Second biggest losers I have is Chelsea. Now Chelsea, yes, they've signed Raheem Sterling and Koulibaly, which are 2 great signings. But for Chelsea standards, this hasn't really been a good transfer window because the team appears is a bit of a mess right now, and the manager is complaining about the squad harmony. Firstly, they lost Antonio Rudiger and Christensen on a free transfer. You know, big teams don't usually let their star players go on free transfer, but they've left. They've tried to sign Rafinha and Koundé from Sevilla. Both players were Chelsea bound, but then Barcelona came from nowhere last minute and stole both of the transfers, and those players chose Barcelona over Chelsea. Now that's going to hurt Chelsea's ego. Then you have their captain Azpilicueta and Marcos Alonso. Now they're looking to leave free as well to go to Barcelona. So what is going on with Chelsea? They can't even hold on to these players. Then, of course, Lukaku, they spent 90 million on him last year. He's out on loan this year. So you basically just lost a 90 million player for £0 in return. So it's just been a bad transfer window. And then finally, if you look at, they're struggling to get rid of their deadwood players that's taking up the big, huge wages. You have Timo Werner, Kepa Arrizabalaga, Pulisic, Batshuayi on 100 plus K a week, and they don't fit in the squad, and Tuchel's trying to get rid of them. No one wants to take them. It's causing disharmony. He's already complaining. And yeah, you have to say Chelsea's in a transitional period. They're trying to sort out the squad, and they could be in for a bad season if they don't get their chemistry right. So they're my second biggest losers of the transfer window. Other losers of the transfer window, I've got Leicester City, who have not brought any reinforcements to their squad, and now there are rumours that their captain Kasper Schmeichel wants to leave. I mean, Leicester seem like they had a bad season last season, but at least they finished mid-table. You'd think they have some money to reinvest in players, but they've not bought anyone, so I see them struggling. Again, another loser is Everton. Now, Everton have kind of softened the blow because in recent days they've signed Dwight McNeil for £20 million, and I think that's going to be a great signing, a little sleeper hit. But they did just survive relegation last season, and they lost their best player, Richarlison, to Tottenham, and they needed the money, the 60 million they got for Richarlison, so they haven't really reinvested it. And then you got players like Dele Alli in their team struggling to find form. You got Frank Lampard trying to find out his best squad. So Everton are losers for me. Brighton have been losers of the transfer window because they lost their star midfielder Bissouma to Tottenham, and they've not bought anyone to replace him. They've had striker issues for 2-3 seasons, and once again they've not addressed that issue. They've not bought a striker again this season, so I don't know where the goals are going to come from. And then they might now lose their left back Cucurella to Man City, which would hurt them big. Bournemouth are also losers in transfer window because if you look at the other teams that got promoted, they've added players reinforcements, and Bournemouth have done nothing. So yeah, so that was my list of the biggest winners and losers of the transfer window. Comment down below who you think were biggest transfer winners and losers of this summer transfer window. Thank you.